Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are so excited for our next guest joining us today, Deja Azeez joining us, and excited to have her here live on the show, the podcast, as well as the Zoomcast today. And we're going to talk more about the work she's doing with Financial Whole Life Services. She is a business owner coming to us live from Virginia, right? How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. So, where specifically in Virginia are you?
I'm located in Chesapeake.
Beautiful. And we're excited to have you here. I was reading up on you. You offer customized coaching services, individuals, couples, so many. And a lot of people have struggles with their finances, and that's what you're here to do. So, tell us the website. How can we find out more about what you do?
Oh yes, so my website and Financial Whole Life Services is actually Financial Whole Life Serve. And
Mm-hmm.
on the website, you would be able to find like what it is that I do and how I'd be able to help. And I mainly help like married couples and people in long-term relationships, but I can also help individuals as well with finances as far as managing spending and debt and savings and all types of aspects in finances as well.
Yeah, these are big deals. I mean, people, a lot of us have student loan debt, credit card debt, right? People don't know how to save, don't understand the system of, the 401k, what should we be doing? But you're giving them these tools and really helps them alleviate the stress and duress. So we're excited to have you here and would love to find out a little more about you. Before we talk about the career you have now, I want to know about you to congratulate you on your effort and work in the military. Could you share a little bit about, what you did?
Yes. So I was actually in the military for 10 years. In that when I was in the military, I was doing interior communications and things of that nature. Nothing like what I'm doing now, but um, in doing so, I went through a lot of financial challenges and struggles and stuff, and especially being raised in a household that didn't really educate a lot about finances. And so being in the military gave me the ability to receive a paycheck every 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
but still not have a structure in how to actually manage the income and how to deal with credit and deal with debt and things of that nature. So I ended up dealing with a lot of financial struggle and challenges on the way. And going through my breaking point, that's when I was like, you know what, it's about time. I just stopped going through this cycle and stop using quick fix and using debt to cover on debt and all types of craziness. And I actually self-taught myself, went through courses and went through Dave Ramsey and read a
Oh,
lot of
wow.
books and stuff and really learned my relationship with money and how to actually manage. And that's when I decided to help my family and friends with finances and stuff. And when I left the military is when I was like, all right, now what, And so I decided to open up my business and help people. And especially it was during COVID I opened.
Oh,
And
was it? I was going to
yes,
ask when.
it was in August 2020. And so
Oh,
just
my
seeing
goodness.
how like no one was really prepared and like a lot of people lost their jobs and not having that emergency fund set up. And I just felt like it was the time for me to open up my business and be able to extend my services to help people learn how to manage their finances.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for being here. Again, I want to urge everyone to visit the website Financial Whole Life Serve, SERV.com. You're also, I saw, active on social media pages. Do you want to share which ones and your phone number, please?
Yes, so I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and you could find me on Google Maps as well. My phone number is 757-819-3561.
Perfect. Well, let's get started today and dive in a little further, getting to know you. And let's, start off by discussing some of the services you provide. I mean, I'm on the website. There's a lot to you, the financial coaching, personal, business. Where did you want to start?
Well, I got my associate's degree in accounting, and
Okay.
so I just love the idea because it accounts for everything, and essentially that's
I
what I
like that.
do on the
Accounts for
personal side.
everything. Yes.
Yes. So I put it together. When working with my clients, I realized a lot of them are now small business owners. And
Mm-hmm.
so the whole idea and the reason why I'm named Financial Whole Life Services is because I want to meet my clients where they are. And that's with everything involving finances. So if you're a small business owner, I also help with bookkeeping and I'm partnering with other people to help with CPA. If you're someone who's looking to try to figure out how to manage groceries and eating out and
Mm-hmm.
meals and stuff with finances, I have a nutritionist that's really good and she helps out with establishing a meal plan for families. I'm also teaming up with others to help with estate planning and
Oh,
life
wow.
insurance and all types of stuff. And so we're really just trying to be all things, a one shop, a one-stop
One-stop
shop
shop.
finances. Yep.
Well, let's talk couples. I know a lot of the couples counseling and coaching, I should say you do, right? You're helping couples overcome financial challenges. Let's talk about how that process works, if you don't mind.
Yes, of course. So with couples, and it's very challenging, but I've noticed there's not a lot of services out there that help couples with finances. And that's huge because it's always difficult for them, for couples to have that financial talk and actually
Yeah.
sit down and talk about, where we're heading, what are our goals, our values, and things of that nature. And so throughout my course of coaching, I've realized that when I'm dealing with when I'm coaching couples, a lot of things that they go through is communications and they're
Yep.
bumping heads, there's misunderstandings. And every time when they coach with me, every session we go through, it's us at creating that space for them to be able to sit down and really talk about things that they value, things that they want to achieve. And we establish those goals and establish different milestones with their, together and identify the strengths and weaknesses that one another have to get them where they're going. Not only that, we create an insight on exactly where their money is going, both of them, and establish a plan where both of them can work together as a team to attack their finances and I mean their debt and rebuild their savings and even help for support their family and their household. And so it's just so important and it's essential for them to be able to work together. And sometimes when people come to me, it's either one or the other. It's like one person in the relationship that's like, you know what, I really want to get our finances together. I really want to
Yeah.
work on my side as well. And I feel like we do need to collaborate together and realize what it is that we want to achieve. And so it's just so inspirational, it's so powerful. And the clients that I'm working with, I mean, they are just great because they're just ready and motivated and both of them motivate each other. And so it's just been amazing. But that's the
Oh,
services I provide.
all right. Well, can we talk about some of the common mistakes that couples are making, or we all, or individuals making in our finance? So what are some of the biggest things that you're seeing?
When it comes to individuals and finances, it's really just not tracking. And I can't stress that enough. Like you have to track what is coming in and what is going out. And without tracking, you can miss a lot of things on the way. You could miss like certain expenses that's supposed to come out, and then you're hit with late fees and all types of things. You can forget or neglect debt accounts and stuff. And so just monitoring and keeping track of it is essential. So the first session that I have with my clients, we go over everything. And when I tell them, I'm like, I need everything financial, they're like, oh my God, everything. And I'm like, yes, we need to know what is coming out. And in that process, it's always like inspirational because they don't realize. And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I forgot about that one. And oh, I'm supposed to delete that one like a long time ago. So going through that process is so insightful. And then us going through it and going through my journey
Yeah.
because I have a 9 month program, not just like I'm not giving them a budget sheet and then send them on their way. No, this is a whole journey process where we go over spending, debt, and save, and we establish financial habits on the way. And so the big thing for both couples and individuals is just tracking. And once they start tracking and being more self-aware of where they're spending, not just going somewhere and then swiping the card, getting the receipt, keeping it moving, but actually being aware of how much they're spending and whether they have enough in their account to cover essentials I mean, that's just a huge part of it. With the
Uh,
couples though, it's kind of just not knowing each other's personality, not knowing, not personality per se, but their relationship with money. Everyone has different relationships with money, whether you're a big spender, a big shopper, an investor. And because of that, that's it's kind of difficult for them to work together. They may end up bumping heads just because they value money differently. And so those are some of the things that I found when coaching them. And essentially, what we do is we identify those and then we come up with methods where both of them can work together.
Got it. Well, thank you for sharing that. Also, let's point out here, just, reading through a lot of your notes, I want to find out more about the budget program you mentioned. What does the program consist of?
Yes. So my budget program, I did mention earlier, it is
Oh,
a 9-month program. So there is two other options. I'm creating a do-it-yourself coaching, and with that, they don't have to feel like, they have to share with me any of the finances. I'll have a course laying out everything that I go over, and also additional tutorials so that when I give them the financial plan portfolio, they can follow along and it would make sense, but essentially it concludes my whole course. So there are three parts in my budgeting program. There's the controlling spending portion, and in that part, we gather all the information and we go ahead and make sure that we are canceling things that gotta go. We are evaluating them. We're trying to see whether or not they're beneficial to our household, beneficial to us, or have we even been using it within 3 months? And after that cleansing process, then we go over a debt portion. The debt portion is where we go over three different types of debt methods that I use and try to focus on tackling the debt. And then the next portion is the savings. And that's when we talk about not just regular savings accounts, but we also talk about educational savings, retirement savings. We talk about establishing an emergency fund, a vacation fund, a reserve fund for holidays and things. We talk about establishing those and maintaining them. It's not just enough to just dump money into savings. We want to learn how to um, put in a plan to replenish it. So whenever you take money out, you need to put in a plan to put money back in. So I work with them throughout that whole process. And it's not me just giving you tips, it's me going with you. And we're working towards making sure you are establishing those financial habits.
beautiful. Thank you so much. And let me ask you though, one of the biggest things, are you dealing with a lot of people with credit card debt? What is your advice with credit cards and how are we teaching the younger generation about credit cards? So my kids are 7 and 9. They're like, Mom, just put it on your credit card. They don't understand it has to be paid back. They don't understand what an interest rate is. They don't understand. Mom, just charge it. And like they think it disappears. So that makes it concerned. I remember being like 16, getting my first credit card, and then yeah, I had to pay it back. And that whole interest thing was like, wait, what? Like, what do you, yeah, give me your take on that.
Well, for credit cards, especially when it comes to children. I'm currently building a program, a youth budgeting program to kind of help kids with, get the idea. But for my clients, I refer them to Greenlight. Greenlight is really awesome for that because you get to give
Okay.
your kids a debit card and then have them learn as they grow. So my child is 10. And so the way she earns money is doing chores around here. And as she does chores, she receives her money that I send to her through the Greenlight
Aw.
card, and then we actually go out and, now she learned how to earn money. Then we show her how to spend money. Like, of course, that's easy, right? She spend it all she wants. She puts it in there, puts her pen in there and stuff like that. Now let's talk about goals. Let's talk about saving up for short-term goals or saving up for long-term goals. And just having them gain that type of habit
Yeah.
will help them understand when they leave, like, all right, like I know when it comes to credit cards and stuff like that, like I need to put back in there because it's borrowed money. It's not our money, it's borrowed money. And so slowly but surely you can incorporate that into little lessons that we give them on the way. After they learned how to earn money and save money, then we could teach them about credit cards and like, hey, and then the green light is awesome for that too because it has like different courses and stuff in there
Okay.
for your child to on their own. They can download the app and they can see like how to. It gives them little activities and stuff on how to manage finances, invest, and deal with credit cards. It's amazing.
Wow. And let me ask you, we got to remind everyone how we can contact you. Would you mind sharing all forms of contact?
Yes, yes. So you can find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. You can go to my website at Financial Whole Life Serve, that's SERV.com, or you can give me a call at 757-819-3561.
Perfect. All right. Well, let's continue the conversation. And again, on the website here, Financial Whole Life Serve, SERV.com. I'm also looking at if there's financial resources to help you. And you write a lot of blogs. One in particular I was peeking at before was the whole understanding term and life insurance and whole life insurance. And at 46, I still have trouble with that. Clearly, advice. What would you say to people when it comes to the life insurance route? Well, what should we be doing?
Well, in my opinion, life insurance, for term life insurance is more like a short term thing. For whole life insurance, it's like a long term scale. Like, you're preparing, like some people use term life insurance as like they have it at a certain point until the child is of age, and then they actually use that money to put towards other things, other assignments and other projects and things of that nature. But long whole life insurance is for those who are just trying to prepare financially for their family when they pass away and have it set up. So it really just depends on your goals and what you plan on having, what you want to have set up for your children in the long run is what I think. But I think everyone should have life insurance. I have whole life insurance for my child, and you just never know, like tomorrow's not promised today. So
Yeah, no, it's true. What other tips do you want to share for us today? Without getting into too much, but I mean, feel free. What would you like to, I know we don't have enough time, right? There's what, 10 minutes left in the show. But there's
I'm
still
really
a lot.
surprised I talk so much. Like I'm
It
so
goes so fast, though. I mean, you can teach us about credit reports. I mean, you could teach us about, preparing. What about, being prepared for like, do you help families in the end, preparing finances, when someone's going to pass,
Mm. Well, I don't help in that regard because I'm still just only a financial coach. I can only go a certain
Okay.
limit, but I have connections with other businesses that could be able to come in during our sessions and be able to help them in that regard. But I do help with like I said, the savings accounts, different types of savings. I would say any tips that I would provide on the saving end is a reserve fund. Definitely
Okay.
necessary. And people are just like, what's a reserve fund? But things that happen every year, like holidays and like birthdays and stuff that you spend money on, establish a reserve fund to help cover down for those moments. It only makes sense. But as you take it out, just make a plan to replenish it back. And it is so helpful. Suddenly unexpected events are just not so unexpected, and then when you're tracking, especially with me and my budget plan has like every single month listed right there in front of you. So you get to even track periodic things that happen
Mm-hmm.
or annual things, seasonal, like if you have like your HVAC and inspections in certain times of the season, or you have your grass getting cut or things like that, you can plug all of those things in and we can keep track of all those things. Suddenly those unexpected expenses are no longer unexpected, and we can be better prepared and be able to aggressively attack our debts and put more money into our savings. And so that's my little tidbit.
Is there like a certain requirement too, like a standard that people are supposed to have saved by a certain age? Do you offer any guidance on that?
As far as which savings accounts.
Well, like, say you're 30. By the age of 30, they say you're supposed to have, I don't know if it's like it's something to do with your salary, right? Like double your salary or something in savings, or do you know any of those loopholes or it doesn't exist?
I know a few of those. And so I use a what is it called? The liquidity ratio. And it's really for your emergency fund, how much you should have in there in case anything's to happen. And so typically they say 3 to 6 months, but there's a formula that you can actually use to determine whether or not you have enough. And it actually goes over all of your assets and how much money that you have available in case anything was to happen. And so the whole idea about emergency fund, people think you just need to have some money in there or a good amount, but
Mm-hmm.
essentially it's supposed to have 6 months worth of expenses, every month expenses in there. In case you lose your job, you have that
6 months.
months of time
Yeah.
frame to get income coming back in to cover down. And so that's how the emergency fund should be set up. And of course, you can always, that you can set up little milestones. I set up milestones for my clients. You can set up little milestones to work your way up to that point. But Yeah, that's my tidbit on the emergency funds.
All right,
Definitely
all
needed.
right, good. Well, let's see. What else did you want to share with your listeners? And what about just the process of working with you? How often do you meet? Are we Zooming like this? Are we on the phone? And is there certain packages that you offer?
Yes. So I actually offer assistance either through Zoom, in person, or through the phone. Through the phone is not like my best method because I'm also putting my clients to class, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm teaching them all types of stuff every time we meet. And so at the
Yeah.
beginning, we're trying to establish a habit. So we might meet like once a week. And that's because I want you to be in the habit of every time we meet on this time, we're going over finances. And
Yeah.
essentially, like as we keep going, that's going to be your time block for finances,
Yeah.
moving forward. And so then after the first month and establishing those habits and going through spending and stuff like that, I mean, after a while, it'll be like every 2 weeks. And then eventually it'll be like once a month. And so with that, it will be a lot of things. It would be so much easier. It would be so much better because we went through all the spending. We established habits. We're being more aware and cautious of where our
Yep.
spending is. We removed all the junk and stuff that we don't really use. That's not really important to us in our life. And it's easier to track now. And then I also supply my financial plan portfolio. And in that portfolio, it just has everything you need in there. It has it has
Tell us.
your budget plan, it has a spending plan. People think those two are the same, but they're not. I will explain that later. There's a budget plan, a spending plan, a debt and savings plan in there, but it's also like a daily planner in there, meal planner. There's like a maintenance chart, a home maintenance chart, which I think is essential because if you're a homeowner, you have to keep up with your appliances, right? And
Okay.
you have to do seasonal maintenance and stuff like that to keep them up. So, or else they will break down and we have to spend crazy amount of money. So I think keeping track of it is important. And then I also have an auto tracker in there and it's just loaded with stuff. And so I also supply that to my clients as we go along. And so that makes it easier for them to track, especially for those who are pen and paper. Those who are just like prefer to write everything down, financial plan portfolio. They can go ahead and write everything they need in that book, write down all their
Interesting.
expenses and stuff. If there's those that are using computer, I also have it in an Excel format, and which that one is easier for a lot of my clients because it auto calculates. So that's pretty cool too.
Yep.
I also
Oh,
use a mobile app, Apple Sheet. It's not necessarily used to be something like what's that popular one? Oh man, it's not used to be something like a full-blown app. It's really just used for while you're out and about and you're spending money. Instead of you keeping receipts, you could take a picture of it, or you could just go ahead and put in how much you've spent out and about. And it actually is linked to the spreadsheet. So it makes it easier to manage finances as well. So I meet my clients in anywhere, any stage that they're at, whichever is comfortable. Because the truth is, any method that I provide you, if it's not something that's convenient, that's in a safe location, if it's not something you can just easily get to, it's just not beneficial. And I want to give you something that works.
yeah. All right. This is good stuff. In our last few minutes together, how did you want to leave off with everyone?
Well,
Awesome.
I
You are a
am just
brilliant
super
young
excited.
woman. See?
Thank,
Mm-mm-mm. Learning a lot from you.
thank you. I guess the last thing I want to say is that I'm super excited to work with people. I'm very passionate about this, and I have a full-time job right now as an accountant. And but I just cannot wait to meet new people and be able to help clients and change lives and help families with finances. I mean, it's just so amazing to watch them go through this journey. And I mean, at the end, I give them a present, a token of appreciation for actually going through the steps and actually making it through, and it just feels great, and we have to reward ourselves, we have to give ourselves like credit for taking the chance and actually stepping out of the comfort zone and allowing
Yeah.
me to see their finances. I mean, it's a lot. It's a huge
Yeah.
step. So
That is. That could be uncomfortable, embarrassing. You could have all different sorts. You got to trust someone, but that's great. So, do you offer like an initial consultation if someone's interested in your services to get to know you, like a discovery call?
definitely, definitely. As soon as when you call or you could schedule a free consultation, we could talk about everything. We could discuss the process a little bit further, discuss like goals and things that they hope to achieve and how my business can help them. And it's a free consultation.
Perfect. Thank you. Remind us again of the phone number, social media pages, and of course the website so we can reach out to you. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Phone number is 757-819-3561. You guys can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
All right. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here today. Great job. And hopefully, are we back on again next week?
I don't know. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
Just
Well,
see.
if so,
I hope
can't wait.
so. Yeah.
If not, great speaking with you, and thank you for being so awesome. Appreciate it. Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Have a great day. And to all of our listeners, stay tuned. We'll be right back with more.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.